Welcome back to the deep dive, everyone. Today, we're going to get into something you might not think about every day.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Let's hear it.
Construction. But not just the hammering and the blueprints. We're talking about how construction companies work with the people who live around their projects. It's called a good neighbor policy. And we've got some juicy material from a Gold Seal certification program to help us understand it all.
Ah, the gold seal. That's a pretty big deal in the construction world, right?
You bet it is. It's like the top tier for construction professionals in Canada. So you know we're getting the real deal, the inside scoop on how things work.
So spill the beans. What's this good neighbor policy all about?
Well, think about it. Nobody likes living next to a construction site. Noise, dust, traffic, it's a headache.
Oh, tell me about it. I lived across from a construction site for a whole year once. It wasn't fun.
Exactly. So this policy is all about how construction companies try to make things a little less painful for the folks living nearby. And it's not just about being nice. It's actually a big part of getting those fancy industry certifications like the Gold Seal.
That makes sense. It shows they're serious about being responsible and ethical. I mean, it's their job to build things, but they got to do it in a way that doesn't disrupt people's lives too much.
Exactly. They actually call it corporate social responsibility, which sounds fancy, but it basically means they're thinking about their impact on the community. So where do we start with this policy? What are the main things it covers?
Well, one of the biggest things is communication. And I don't mean just putting up a sign that says construction ahead. We're talking about real, honest-to-goodness communication with the people living and working nearby.
So like knocking on doors and saying, hey, we're going to be making a lot of noise tomorrow.
Huh? Well, maybe not door to door. But they do use things like formal written notices to keep everyone in the loop, like letting people know about noisy days, traffic changes, stuff like that. And it's all laid out in these standardized construction contracts from, what's it called? The Canadian Construction Documents Committee, or CCDC.
GCDC, got it. Sounds official.
It is. These contracts actually have specific sections dedicated to communication rules. That's how important it is.
So it's not just a suggestion. It's like legally binding stuff.
Exactly. They're really trying to make sure community relations are taken seriously and not just treated like an afterthought. It's all about transparency and making sure everyone knows what's going on. Imagine you're living next to a big construction project. Wouldn't you feel better knowing there's a clear process for getting information and voicing your concerns?
Totally. I'd want to know when to expect the jackhammers to start up so I can plan my day around it.
Precisely. And it's not just about noise complaints either. This policy also covers how they handle environmental stuff. Think dust, vibrations, air quality, all those things.
Right, because a construction site can be a messy place.
For sure. So they've got to follow strict guidelines from organizations like the CCDC to make sure they're not causing any unnecessary harm to the environment or the people nearby.
Okay, so we've got communication and environmental protection. Anything else?
Well, they're also supposed to engage with the community. That means actually talking to people, listening to their concerns, and trying to find solutions that work for everyone.
So more than just sending out a newsletter, right? They're actually having conversations with people.
They might hold community meetings, set up feedback channels, even create a website where people can track the project's progress and ask questions.
It sounds like they're trying to make the community feel like they're part of the process, not just stuck dealing with the mess.
Yeah.
But I got to ask, construction companies are businesses, right? They're not just doing this out of the goodness of their hearts. What's in it for them?
Well, for one thing, it can save them a lot of trouble down the road. Think about it. If they're keeping the community happy, they're less likely to run into delays caused by protests or legal challenges. That means they can finish the project on time and within budget.
Time is money, as they say.
Exactly. Plus, if they have a good reputation for being community-minded, it can actually help them win more business in the future. People like to work with companies they trust.
Makes sense. So it's a win-win for everyone. The community gets a less disruptive construction experience, and the company gets a smoother project and a better reputation.
Precisely. It's a great example of how, even in an industry that's all about concrete and steel, building relationships and trust is just as important.
It's a reminder that building structures should also involve building positive relationships.
You got it.
So that's the rundown on the good neighbor policy in construction.
And honestly, this isn't just a construction thing. Any organization or project that impacts the people around it could learn a thing or two from this approach.
That's a great point. It's about being a good neighbor, no matter what you're building.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
So, next time you see a construction site, take a moment to appreciate the efforts they're making behind the scenes to keep things running smoothly and maintain those good neighbor vibes. That's it for our deep dive today. See you next time.
See ya.